Hello and welcome to another Bloodstained Ritual of the Night Randomizer Cinco Bingo race at SGLIVE 2021. Got an exciting one here. AceZer0 versus Hapra. Ace, generally being known to be a really strong player in Link to the Past, Super Metroid Combo Rando, and Hapra, a speedrunner of Bloodstained. So, pretty exciting match here. Um, Especially with Ace having tested out a lot of the bingo behind the scenes as well, and Hapra kind of just jumping onto the bingo scene recently. So, looking forward to it. We're starting off strong here on the Galleon Minerva. You guys have already found a pretty incredible weapon in the Makwatl. I'm not exactly sure how to say it, but it's a club that does a lot of damage. And they've also found the Silver Bromide, an item that unlocks a large area of the game called the Train and the Underground Sorcery Lab. So, pretty nice find early. They'll be able to route that in cleanly because you do have to do a couple turn-in quests, basically, in order to get that going. But, yeah, we're just kind of going through the ship here, collecting chests, and trying to kill some enemies to level up Miriam, the main protagonist here, and collect some shards off of these enemies. Every enemy has a unique shard, and each of those shards have special powers. There are a couple shards in the game, or a couple enemies in the game that may not have shards, but still pretty much all enemies have shards, and we're seeing those big glowy things that impale themselves into Miriam, flying left and right here already. And then paired with the randomizer that we're playing here, we also have bingo. So you can see the card down below, and it looks like there's a lot of interesting objectives here. Of note, the center square being defeat a boss using only daggers. So if you do find a dagger here on the ship, we may end up seeing some more players using a dagger to defeat Vapar, the end boss of the ship area. The ship being extremely generous, honestly, with items and equipment for these guys. Looks like Ace did hit an Ariad bar. It's a really powerful spear, which drops off of an enemy. It looks like it's the Thema enemy, the little squid guys. So that's a really nice find, and it's just going to improve damage output. Hapra just appears to be flying through the ship here, taking enemies out. Maybe Ace, getting a few more of the shards, playing a little slower, but also hitting the Ariad bar, so that's going to improve damage output throughout the game. It's another one, wow. So yeah, we're going to be looking out for that dagger here on the ship. There is also a tile on this card that is fully explore Galleon Minerva. That is the ship here. Now, they do need some sort of movement, and that's something these players are looking for early on in the game in order to be able to fully explore this ship. So we're going to look for something like high jump, or double jump, or invert, or dimension shift, or reflector ray. Those are the progression movement shards that will help us get through the game. Galleon map, interestingly, on the Galleon. So just to speak a little bit to the randomizer, the randomizer randomizes all items that are in chests across the entire game. It randomizes all the shards that the enemies have. It randomizes the shop in town. It randomizes the crafter, and it randomizes full drop tables across enemies. So there's a lot of randomization in this game. It randomizes quests. There's all sorts of small little things here and there. You see Hapra going to town with a dagger here, only doing like 5 or 6 damage at a time. Getting some nice crits in there too. Has to be really careful with the health. Looked like he had some food, which food is really broken in this game. Food allows you to immediately refill your health when you eat it, and also provides a permanent bonus, a small permanent bonus as well. So definitely worthwhile to have some food on hand while you're going through the game. But it's a real slow fight here with just the knife in hand. Ace hitting a lot of the shards here on the ship. This That's got to feel real good for Ace. And Hapra does take down Vipar with the dagger, earning himself a tile on the card, and most importantly, it's the center tile. That center tile is the most critical tile because it touches on the most bingo, so it's really nice to have that one out of the way. I did notice that on the card, we also have defeat 3 bosses using only a single shard. You have to use that same shard on all 3 of those different bosses, so that's something to consider as well. It looks like Ace is having a little bit of trouble here on Vipar. Maybe not having the best enemy patterns. And running a bit low on health. Has to be extremely careful. Still using that knife. And Vipar is giving him some terrible patterns right now. And unfortunately takes the death there. That is a bummer. But he'll be able to take it, take another crack at it. So he may elect to delay that dagger kill and plan to do it later, or he has options here, but that is a costly death. Now, meanwhile, Hapra is exploring the shop in town, the crafter in town. There's a lot inside of there to explore since everything's randomized. We're not going to go into too many of the details, but if we see some interesting items there, we may point them out. One of the things they're probably looking for is Alkahest. Alkahest is a drop from enemies, but could also end up being in the shop or in the crafter, and it allows you to dismantle items to gain other items. And since all of that is randomized, it's kind of it can allow you to get really strong equipment very quickly. So something to look out for sure. Ace still in kind of a pinch here. Needs to be very careful with health. He's in kind of a one-shot territory. The settings that we use for the randomizer is hard mode, and these enemies do hit like a truck, so Ace does need to be careful not to get hit by any of these Vipar attacks or the Seema there, so handling it okay now. And also looks like Hapra has purchased some food in town and is maybe checking on some Alkahest. He did see that there's an ether drop there, so perhaps just checking out which enemy might have that. So looks like we picked up a swordfish there. And Hapra is using that Ariat bar as well. And there's a dagger kill for Ace. Ace manages to make it through, gets the summon chair shard, which doesn't look like it's going to be important for this card, but still good to finally get that objective completed. So these guys are going to just kind of mosey on through the game, the early part of the game here, get some of the chests in town and in entrance. But meanwhile, we can maybe take a look at the card and see what we're working towards. So looking at column 1, row 1, we've got collect ring, unicorn ring, assassin's ring, and cursed ring. Those are all ring drops from different enemies. We've got take a carriage ride in Garden of Silence. We do need a craftwork shard in order to activate that carriage ride cutscene. Oh, high jump. First kill on the Blood Grinder Knight there in entrance. Really nice find. That's the movement that we're looking for. That'll allow them to fully explore the ship. There's Sangetsudo there immediately in the entrance. A really critical item that allows us access to a really late game area called the Den of Behemoths and the Glacial Tomb. So really nice early find here. Depending on when Ace hits the high jump, he may end up missing this potentially, so we'll have to watch out for that. But anyways, moving on with the card, defeat 3 bosses using only a single shard, same shard on 3 bosses. So they'll want to identify some good shards that they want to use for that. Activate 7 levers. It looked to me like Hapra only activated one of the levers at the start of town. Ooh, nice shard there, Faltayab. It's a strong one. Looks like Hapra's going to consider using it. You can see you can spam it there. But yeah, there's a couple in town, there's a couple in tower, there's a couple in, there's like 3 in Cathedral, 1 in the Hall of Termination, one on the train. They're scattered all over the place, a couple in underground. So it's something they're going to just want to be doing over the course of the game and may guide their routing in certain ways because it is a relatively easy objective to accomplish. Defeat Nyama and Macaron and Kamikaze, the cat enemies. There's one cat that's very deep in the Oriental Sorcery Lab, which does require either having Dimension Shift or High Jump or Invert and Craft Work. So right now they're looking for Craft Work or Dimension Shift in order to get to that area of the game. They could also use a little trick called with Gale Crawler to get in there, but we'll see if they end up doing that. But that's also important because we do see Column 2, Row 2 has Defeat Gargoyle and Gap. Gap, another enemy in the Oriental Sorcery Lab. And then right next to that, we have Fully Explore Oriental Sorcery Lab. So this looks like a card where they're really going to want to go to that Oriental Sorcery Lab. We even have Defeat Zangetsu 1 and 2, I see lower down, and Defeat Zagan and Hagenti on the card. Those are all Oriental objectives, which is crazy to see so many. So the incentive is high to go to those areas once they have access, but right now they're looking for that access. There's collect 2 healing item recipe books at column 1, row 2. They just need to find those books, and then once they have them, they get that objective. Defeat Decima, Glash, and Scylla using only Cerulean Splash. That's a shard that you can find in the game, and you're basically defeating some underwater enemies using that water shard. Collect Standstill and Shadow Tracer. Those are some blue shards that we'll see these players collect over the course of the game. Rigastarima, Rigadoin, those are some fire shards. Throw Spear and Bolide Blast. I believe we've already seen Bolide Blast on the ship. So we're still looking for that Throw Spear. Collect Flytrap and Welcome Company. Those are some other shards that we want to be getting. Defeat Kune Kune. That one, there's a unique enemy on the train, which we do have access to. That is the Kune Kune. That enemy is pretty annoying because you have to wait through like a 3-minute cutscene in order to even have access to that enemy. And that's after you've already gone through the train one time. So this is going to be... It'll be interesting if they decide to go for that because it's quite the commitment. But, if it helps them get bingos, they're going to do it. Looks like Ace has not hit the high jump yet, unfortunately. There are better places to farm that Blood Grinder Knight. So, gonna miss out on Zangetsudo for now. We'll see if he ends up coming back later. But that could be a problem for him, potentially. So, that'll be interesting. As I mentioned, Defeat Zangetsu 1 and 2 is on the card. Zangetsu 2 is up in Oriental Sorcery Lab. We saw Hapra already defeat Zangetsu 1, so already halfway there. But we do need some movement to get to Zangetsu 2, and Zangetsu 2 is much tougher boss than Zangetsu 1. Collect Kung Fu Vest, Hound Vest, and Assassin's Vest. Kung Fu Vest is in a chest, Hound Vest is one that we can craft, and Assassin's Vest is one from a drop table. But they might find it all in the crafter as well, or the shop. So there's opportunity in a lot of places to get that done. Collect Drain and Optimizer shards. More shards to collect here. Collect Sword Expertise, Great Sword Expertise, and Katana Expertise. Those are some yellow shards. Collect 7 differently named Conjure shards. Those are the red ones. So we'll be on the lookout for anything that says, summon Hellhound, summon Bat, summon Rat, stuff like that. Defeat Zagan and Hagenti. Those are cow enemies. One of them is in the garden, and one of them is in the Oriental Sorcery Lab. So that's something we're going to, again, look out for that Oriental play. Craft 2 differently named shards, pretty easy one. They're just going to have to look in the crafter. The way shards are unlocked in the crafter is players do need to just collect shards, and random ones will unlock new shards in the crafter. But the thing is, they have to figure out how to craft them. So that can be kind of tricky. Ooh, Hapra finding a Summon Bat. That's good for the summon objective, but also the Gale Crawler shard, which can allow them to get into the Oriental Sorcery Lab. There's a little trick you can do to get past the Iron Maidens. Now, they'd have to tank a lot of damage from the spikes, so they want to prepare for that, because there's a lot of spikes on the way there. But that's an interesting option available if Craftwork ends up being something they miss or is deep in the game, and could help, blow the game wide open. for them. Kind of finishing out the card here. Collect Alchemic Bounty, augment Gold Shard. I believe we've seen Alchemic Bounty. So that's a good start. And 55% map completion as they go through the game, collecting all these shards. I'm sure they're going to be able to accomplish that. And then we can always go back to the ship and fully explore the Galleon Minerva. So a lot of shard on this card, I think. It's very shard-heavy kind of card. So I think we're going to see our players really focusing on farming enemies more than anything. And it looks like Hapra's off to a great start with that, really hitting a lot of these shards very quickly, using Fall Tie-Up, using the Ariad Bar really fast, and also finding Reflector Ray there off of the Bloodbringer. Amazing shard luck going through the game here. You can see Ace is a little bit behind. You know, we took the death there, but also has had a little bit worse luck and is really trying to, you know, get the movement shards here. Reflector Ray pretty much eclipsed by high jump in most situations here, but there are a couple scenarios where high jump won't get you into small spaces that Reflector Ray can bounce you around and get into. So it's still good to have on hand so that you can full clear better. Looks like Hapra is going back to the ship here. Not a bad plan. Just to clean up the remaining shards. You don't want to leave something early on behind that could help you, potentially a good damage shard or something that's required for the card. Again, shard heavy card, so good plan. We saw Ace just knock that Toad into the Iron Maiden there. Good strategy in order to collect that item behind. So, well played. And yeah, Hapra is going to go through and fully explore the Galleon Minerva. Really strong play right now, because it's on the card, it's a corner tile, and you get to check a few extra chests, which is nice. You can see he went back to that particular room just to get that corner of the map, which is a great idea. So Ace has high jump and has hit a lot of the shards in the garden. Probably going to move on to Zangetsu. I think this is a play that Hapra did skip, like, the garden checks for now, so it's good to see them splitting off a little bit, but I'm sure Hapra's going to end up there soon enough. Ace weighing his equipment options right now, trying to figure out what's best, but gotta keep moving. But yeah, for his sake, I really hope he goes back to that Forgotten Entrance area. That would be a huge miss on that Zangetsu. There's Flying Dagger on the Barbados. I believe Hapra already hit that. There are a couple items that get unlocked in the shop when you beat Zangetsu 1, so it's definitely worth, like, peeking in on. Looks like Hapra's just grabbing some food and is just going to keep moving. Maybe heading into the garden, which Ace already cleared, and continuing on towards the tower. Again, the lever objective makes that kind of attractive. There's a lot of items there, but not as many shards, so I don't like that play nearly as much. But it could be an option for them, or they could just head into the library, maybe go up to the Hall of Termination. There is another opportunity to kind of go the left side of the map and take the Upper Cathedral route. So Hapra did clear the Lower Cathedral, but there is an Upper Cathedral available as well. So yeah, Hapra's gonna cross the ravine here, head towards tower area, but gotta wait for this frog. That's Toad. There we go. It's also kind of cool to see the blood color change. Like, the devs actually made very interesting that you can change a lot. You can customize like a lot of colors and stuff in the game. Like you can visit the barber in the cathedral and change your color scheme for Miriam. You do all sorts of cool stuff in the game. So it's nice to see that some of the customization options are being used. You can have Miriam speak in different languages too. It's great. So we did see the Shadow Tracer shard there, I believe, which is on the card. I think that was on the Gearmond. Not sure if Hapra has hit that yet, so we'll be on the lookout for that. But that's a really nice find for Ace. And is on that column 5, row 2. Looking for Standstill as well to go with it. Okay, looks like Hapra has finally hit some of the shards here. And it's kind of just moving right along. Finds a convenient warp here in Garden. That's a really nice one. It lets you get back to this area of the map, which is where you end up going after you cut the Blood Moon with SGLIVE in Hall of Termination. So you want to come back to the Garden. So this is a nice warp position. Really getting shards very quickly here. Look at this. Hitting the Buer, hitting the Caraboss twice. Crazy. Right now, Hapra has got to be feeling good about this clear speed. Also, just really clean and efficient movement that we've come to know and expect is great to see. Looks like there are a good number of drinks in the shop. That's a really nice thing too, is to identify, hey, there's some really nice food and drinks that will give me stats to keep accelerating, keep using my shards to do damage to enemies. Because this game is all about like your clear speed in terms of getting shards, getting drops from enemies, getting through bosses, that kind of thing. The efficiency is so critical, and just the more damage per second you have, and the more efficient mana usage you have, the better. And if you can just drink a couple drinks, which drinks give you a burst of mana when you drink them, plus they give you permanent MP regen, like that's invaluable for continuing through the game. So Hapra hitting the Puppy Shard and the Lily Shard very quickly. There's just the Carriage Morton there. You can kill that enemy in other areas, so it looks like maybe he'll move on. Maybe going for this Zagan, which is a quest. So that's a good one to get done. Once you finish your first quest, then the rest of them kind of open up, and it can be for all sorts of monsters across the world. All of those quests are randomized, like which monster you need to kill in order to get some rewards from Lindsay in town. And you can get like a lot of good stuff from her. Potentially some that help you with objectives, potentially some that can sell for a lot of money. It's just really helpful to get that going, so good strategy here. Looks like Ace is kind of following suit, but did not go to Cathedral, it seems. So maybe going to be blitzing towards OD in the library just to get some power to his attacks. So it'll be interesting to see when he gets back there. Plus, he's also missing that important Zangetsudo. So it'll just be a matter of time until he gets back there. I don't know when that'll be. You have such good movement right now with high jump and accelerator. All right, looks like Hapra is going to be clearing out the bottom side of tower now after hitting some of those shards in the pre-train area. Void Ray on the Simian. Ace hitting that on the Monkey. Really nice find. That's a great shard to farm with. You can spam it very quickly without consuming large amounts of mana, so that's a really great hit for Ace, and one that might help him keep moving things along. Looks like we got another blue shard. I think it was healing. Don't think that's too interesting. We need healing books, not a healing shard. Now let's see what Hapra decides to do. What play will you make? Oh, Double jump on the poltergeist there, the portraits. Very nice find. So with high jump and double jump, you can really move fast in this game. We're probably going to see some of that crazy movement here from Hapra. At least going into this room to farm these enemies, pretty efficient way to do it. Looks like Ace is kind of following suit, clearing out this early part of train, getting these shards, moving on. Had a really quick Zagan kill there. This is nice. I'm not sure if you'll be able to get the quest. That's the real tough part, I guess. Hits the puppy immediately. And there's Rigastorima, an important shard on the viewer armor there. So that's part of the puzzle right now there for Hapra. So good hit. Those viewer armors mostly found here in the tower. So there's a couple in Garden as well. There's Bunny Morphosis off the Poison Toads. Jeeble's glasses in the tower. Oh, snap. That is a find. Whew. So, Jeeble's glasses, an amazing item that you can get that allows all of your shards' mana costs to go to 0, basically. So, everything becomes free. And that allows you to spam some shards that are really broken and do a lot of damage very quickly. Of note, there's a shard called Hellhound that is a conjure shard. If we find Summon Hellhound, that's pretty much the best shard they can use for DPS. There are a couple others that are really strong too. With Void Ray in hand, Ace maybe doesn't need to worry about that too much in terms of mana usage, but it's going to just speed everything up considerably. They have Bolide Blast, I think, so that's a really good shard to use with reduced mana cost, because some shards cost, like, you know, Hellhound costs 200 mana. I think Bolide's like 50 or something, but you can spam it really quickly and do a lot of damage fast, so it's a really good find, really sharp find there in tower. We'll see if Ace manages to pick that up too. Looks like he's farming the portraits right now. Really good idea to just get this done, and hits the double jump fairly quickly, so that's good. Still really worried that he's not going to find that Zangetsudo for a while, but we'll just have to wait and see. So he is heading up here, farming at least this room. We'll see if he decides to continue through the rest of the tower. He is! Okay. So both of our players are going to have Jeebles. It'll be interesting to see what shards they decide to use with it. Right now, Hapra is still kind of focusing on using that Aria bar, which is still doing a lot of damage, so I don't blame him. Ace is using Void Ray to clear these enemies quickly, but you can see his mana running out so fast, so that's a little tricky. And Ace hasn't hit the Rigastorima yet either, I believe. So you can see Ace smiling there. Pretty happy he came up here to find the Jeebles. Now he can just mow things down with his Void Ray. Alright, so now Hapra is taking on Valak, the boss of the tower. It's actually a pretty early game boss. You're expected to really only have double jump coming into this area. So, you can see Hapra's going to town with some kick jumps. I like the strategy. It's pretty funny. And sword expertise, that's actually on the card. Really nice hit from the Wolfman there. Man, these guys are getting these shards so fast. But, you know, skipping one could spell doom. You know, if you have some holes in your shard completion, could be a big problem. So it'll be interesting to see. God, this kick jump thing is getting me going. This is funny. If you have shoes on, it can really be a fast fight if you're just kick jumping them like that. But with the damage that these guys have with the Jeebles glasses and the shards they're using, this is a fairly trivial fight again. This is like an early game fight. You can see Bolide Blast being used there for 120 damage a pop. You can just spam that over and over again. And it's just a extended cutscene, just waiting for these guys to finally die. So I'd say this early tower play really paid off with the Jeebles, and we'll see. And some of the shards here are actually pretty good too. Summon Insect on Valak there, the Twin Dragon boss. Not the best, but, you know, can't win them all. But now you know, the train's good. You've cleared it. I think Hapra doesn't have this Wolfman shard, so might end up farming that, and that'll be good for him. There it is. And that's that sword expertise, so that's really nice to have. Again, there's Rigastorima on the Buer Knight, so Ace still needs to grab that one if he wants to chance it. That column 1, row 3. So Hapra, now done with Tower, is going to head into Libra Ex Machina, which is the library of the game. Some unique shards here, but also, importantly, there's OD here, which is the librarian. And very akin to the librarian in Castlevania Symphony of the Night, if you know that game well. So there's a lot of parallels in this game. But OD allows you to check out some books from the library there. And those books can power you up in some interesting ways. They can give you more physical damage, or basically magic damage, your shard damage. They can give you more luck or other stats. Generally, picking up the Deadeye Tome or the Sage Tome is the preferred play, especially when you have infinite mana. So I think it's likely that these guys will be doing that. See Ace also using Bolide Blast here. Maybe not going for the fun kick jump strats. Those are pretty cool, but gonna easily take him down. Although getting caught in the spikes there, getting ping ponged a little bit, but got the food to offset that. Looks like Hapra's kind of farming some of the enemies, like these demons in the library too. It's really nice when you get early movement, because you can farm some of the early game enemies, like demons that you would find in Cathedral or Entrance in other places in the game, and then just don't have to worry about, farming every single little shard there. You might just hit them on the way. So Ace, through the fight there, did not check the Aegis Plate chest. Interesting choice. I don't think that's going to bite him, but that's maybe just forgot about it. Or maybe feeling good that he has most of the things he needs in terms of items. Probably just forgot. And we're moving on to the library. So these guys are kind of following each other. I think Ace still hasn't hit that Buer Knight, so there are a couple other opportunities in Underground and in Garden to hit those. We'll see if that comes up. Hapra hitting these shards pretty quickly. Still doesn't have that Void Ray, so has to kind of walk over to these Dandelions, taking damage on the spikes to get the drops. So it's definitely slower. You're going to see Ace be able to, kill these guys from afar. But the damage that Hapra is doing is still substantial, so he's getting through it pretty fast. He's also getting the quest here, which is nice. There's Pickpocket. That's a really nice shard to pick up there. Basically allows enemies to drop items easier, like gives you better luck for item drops. Effectively allows you to get more item drops from enemies, so hopefully we'll see that come into play over the course of the game, because we do want to find that Assassin's Vest. That's a big one, and then the rings. And it looks like Ace also hit that one, and you could see did a little bit faster with that Void Ray. Also hit the Death Cry off the Rulsha. Switching over to Bolide for some additional damage. Hapra is, of note, using Fault Tayab on a second boss here to try to defeat 3 bosses using only a single shard. Might see Ace going for Bolide Blast based on his route. But we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. Conveniently, there is a warp there that lets you get back to town quickly, so that's very good. He's trying to get these chests to spawn. And they're pretty synced up now, so with all the movement they have, there are a lot of opportunities to go a lot of different places in the map. They could use that Gale Crawler and go up to Oriental. That could be a slick play with all the objectives up there, knowing that you need to do it anyways. We have Jeebles now. We have some pretty strong shards for killing bosses, and there's like a million objectives there. The only downside is they can't fully explore it until they get the Carpenter Key, and I don't believe they have the Carpenter Key. So that may be something they want to hold out for before they even go there entirely. So yeah, it looks like Ace might have got 3 kills on Zangetsu 1, the Valak Twin Tower boss, and Andrailphus here with Bolide Blast, so that should kind of take care of that objective for him. I think Hapra needs one more boss in order to get there, because he was using some other shards and damage on Valak. But I think he realized on Andrailphus, okay, I need to actually use this Fault Tie-Up. So it looks like Hapra is going to keep going upwards. We can see Reflector Ray used on a couple of these chests here to get into those tight spaces. It's a good play. There's other ways to get into Upper Library. I think he might be going up this way. Yep, there's Reflector Ray. It can be a little weird to use. Sometimes it just doesn't let you in. You gotta line it up just right to reflect off of these panels and get to the next room. Have to also be really careful in this area of library. There's all these like grinding gears and stuff that do a lot of damage if you run into them. It's just all environmental damage. You can't destroy them in any way. So just have to be very clean with the movement. There's an item to the left here that's extremely dangerous. So we'll see if they decide to go for it. But really slick damage output there with the spears. You can see like some short hop attacks, use of Bolide Blast, stuff like that is really just speeding up the clear in this area. But, you know, they're now at the point in the game where the enemies are starting to get tougher, so they want to be as efficient with their damage output as possible, because you want to kill as many things as possible. So Ace is now going back to the ship to clear the Galleon Minerva. So we saw Hapra do this earlier, so you have to think that Hapra's ahead in that regard. And there's Cerulean Splash, I believe, off of the Larage, which does unlock an objective in Column 402. Defeat Decima, Glash, and Scylla using only Cerulean Splash, so that's a really nice find, and security for an objective later. Could be something that where they're going for that bottom left to top right diagonal, because that one's looking really good now. They just have to hit those vests, because they do pretty much have access to Oriental using that Gale Crawler. Oh, there was a healing book up in the on the ship. That's good to know. Okay, nice. I assume they both have that, which is great, because then they can hopefully count on finding one more. There's only 3 in the game, I believe. With their damage output and the rate at which they've been hitting these shards, you know, they really need to start thinking about what their bingos are going to look like. I mean, they do need to hit some more shards to get there. It's good that they have like half of some of these objectives. So once they hit those other halves, they can be like, okay, well, now I'm going to go for these bingos. Or, you know, they can plan like one way or the other, which is good. There's a firearm expertise, I believe. Not too interesting. Oh, I see an ectoplasm drop. And using this Axe Strike, yes, Axe Strike does a lot of damage. Really nice way to farm this room. Clever use of Axe Strike, honestly. Ectoplasm indicates that Alcahest is on this enemy. So that'll be interesting to see if they get how much Alcahest they decide to farm. Draconic Rage on the Tamako Death. It looks like the Alcahest is on the Tri-Wheel Viewer. So that's good to know. Oh, and there's Standstill on the Lance armor. So it looks like Hapra did hit the Shadow Tracer on the Gearmund. I hope so. And no, Ace definitely hit it. She should be in good shape for another objective there. That's a really fast objective. Very nice. You can see Hapra actually looking at the enemy list there. It's actually really good to look at your enemy list because there are a couple enemies that might not have shards. There's one in the game specifically, so there's one guaranteed and one that's random. The Morts at the beginning don't have a shard. So you want to check if you've hit the shard itself. You want to check the drop tables in the menu. It gives you a lot of information, which is good. There's the ×2 Alcahest. Okay. That's a big deal. But they honestly have a lot of good equipment. They don't need equipment for this card, really. So I don't suspect it's going to be that critical. Alright, if it was any question, Ace just took out the train with Bolide Blast as well. So he should be in good shape there. Got another lever on the train. Another good reason to go there. I believe that's 5 for him. But should have no trouble if he just goes to Cathedral. Like, there's plenty of opportunity there. These guys are kind of just farming up enemies in different directions, but it's nice to see this divergence. There are some unique shards over here on train. The Mimic is actually one that they can hit in both locations, so the one that Hapra's working on. And we're almost at the Abyssal Dragon boss, which hopefully we'll see Hapra spam that Faultiob on him. The Abyssal is strong to dark attacks, but I think with the spam here, it should be pretty trivial. So looks like the shard gets or shard acquisitions have been slowed down considerably. They're looking at their menus, they're trying to figure it out. They're slamming these chests with axes. There's Thrashing Tentacle there on the Assassin. They know it's critical to hit a lot of these shards while they're here, especially the ones on the train, because you're not guaranteed a warp. So, definitely a good idea. It's looking like Ace is really just using Bolide on everything. It's a high damage output, but it's got low range. That's the downside. And there is an opportunity for Ace to, instead of like Waystoning out of here, if he has one, or taking a warp out, could end up going for the Kune kill while he is here. There's an opportunity to just go back and take out Kune. So we'll be looking out for that as well. Because, you know, you've come all the way to train. Just go ahead and get your objectives done. Getting his first shortcut shard. Of note, the candles in the game are not randomized. And this is one of the cats that we do need to defeat. So we've already done that, but you want to try to get the shard as well. So Hapra taking a save here right before the Abyssal Dragon. Probably thinking about if he wants to go for this kill here. Gonna try to get this quest. Makes sense. Not sure if Ace has checked to see if this even has a shard or not, but it'd be good to know. Alright, so here's the Abyssal Dragon. It's a boss right in this room, but it's actually a normal enemy once you get to the Den of Behemoths. So, if they don't hit the shard on this, they have an opportunity to hit it in Den of Behemoths. Now, Ace doesn't have SGLIVE, so only Hapra has access right now. But, that could be interesting. So we did see augment gold on the Thunder Elemental there in the library as well. It's a great thing to find. I think they found Alchemic Bounty earlier in the game, I want to say. So he may have that objective already. I remember seeing it very early. Or I saw something that looked like it. Maybe I think it's on the bats, maybe, yeah. Summon 8-bit Ghost on the Macaron there, the cat. That's a good find, because it's another summon conjure shard. Again, it has to be a red shard that has summon in its name, basically. So, there are a couple directional shards, the purple ones, but those don't count. It looks like Hapra's going through and starring some of these things. You can see he has sword expertise. I see Alchemic Bounty in his inventory. So I think he does have it. He does have that objective. He got the augment gold. So that's good to know. There's resist poison. There are a decent number of unique shards here, but it looks like they're not too useful. Just some yellow shards, passive shards that don't do too much. I think he already has the puppy. He doesn't have the mimic, but he can farm that in the same place Hapra was farming it. So he isn't bound to doing that here. So Axe Strike's doing some work. Oh, as I said that, got blocked by the stairs. But really quick farming. I feel like Ace already has the shard. Maybe he probably knows better than me. Did not. It's throw spear. That's immediately an objective for Ace. So that's a big payoff for coming here. That's a huge payoff because they've been using Bolide Blast this whole time, both of them. We know they have that. So, man, they are finding objectives left and right now with this movement and damage output. It is fantastic to see that, and this is kind of the high-level, fast-paced gameplay you want to see. What I'm most interested in is when somebody pulls the trigger and goes to Oriental Sorcery Lab. Again, they can't full clear it because they don't have the Carpenter key, but they still get a ton of objectives if they go there. So they could just say, okay, maybe I'm not going for that. It looks like right now that column 3 would be nice to do if they could, but they would have to find Drain and Optimizer. So it's hard to say if that's going to happen or not. And then row 2, Cerulean Splash is available. Standstill Shadow Tracer Shard. So that one might be a really good one for Hapra once he hits the Carpenter shard. Has to be extremely careful with the damage here. Okay, there we go. if you do too much damage to Jeeble in this fight, you basically game over and lose. You need to cut that Blood Moon that reveals that Gremory was really behind it all, controlling Jeeble. So, well done. There's 2 saves up here. So you probably want to do your business while you're here and then leave. Nice Valkyrie TRFI. That's a really strong helm. And there's a healing recipe book there. So that should be 2 of those. Very nice. So that row 2 is looking juicy, but we need that Carpenter key. That's the critical piece of the puzzle. I did not see that in my inventory there. So looks like Hapra's just gonna Waystone out, get out of here. Ace is back in close to that Forgotten Entrance area, so that might be something he visits while he's here, or in Cathedral he could drop down and go check it real quick. That's an option. But this might just be a route through Cathedral into Upper Cathedral as well, which means he's going to keep dodging that section of the game, which is really unfortunate for him. Now, Den of Behemoths isn't, like, explicitly on this card. It doesn't say, go to Den of Behemoths and do something. But there's a lot of opportunity for map completion and shards in Den and Glacial Tomb. So, you know, again, with this being a shard-heavy card, it's a good place to go to get a lot of shards very quickly if your damage is up to par. There's the Gale Crawler for Ace. So that might give him the thought, hey, maybe I can play Oriental early here. Need a decent amount of food to do that right now. You can see him maybe chuckling about that, thinking, hey, maybe I might go for it. What just happened? Why is... I must have missed what happened with Hapra, but he's back at... Maybe he didn't want to waste his Waystone? So we reset? I'm not sure. Or maybe he wants to do 8-bit. But he lost his books, but now he's got them back. Okay. It's good. I was like, I don't know what's going on right now. You Waystone again. I don't know what's going on. But I'm sure he does, so that's the important thing. Alright, this might be the train play for Hapra. It's a early-ish game area that has some unique enemies. Has the Kune as well, if you want to commit to it, so... I don't think it's a bad idea, especially with Column 5 being on the table. I think they have access to actually complete that whole thing if they just get enough Summon Contra Shards, which I'm sure they will. And he will be rewarded with that Throw Spear as well. So that's a really nice play here from Hapra. Also gets another lever on the way too. So it's a solid play. And definitely, we can see side by side Hapra and Ace farming the Mimic and the Assassin. Hapra just hitting that shard on the Assassin immediately, the Thrashing Tentacle there. So that'll help speed him up here too. Also getting the Seleno along the way, really nice. Alright, so Ace has pretty much cleared out the lower part of Cathedral. Looks like he's backtracking to either the Warp here or to head to Upper Cathedral, which is a reasonable play. Could have a lot of items, including the Carpenter Key, and can head up to Hall that way. But again, does not have Zangetsudo. from that Forgotten Entrance area. That's the big ticket item. And it's just, who knows, it might take Ace full clearing the whole game before he gets back to that. Because he won't have access to Den and Glacial Tomb. But it's possible that that's not even required at all. Maybe we can get 5 bingos without even going to Den or Glacial Tomb. So we'll see. There's Standstill for Ace. I think he's identified that he has both of those. Gets another objective for it. Really nice. Probably feeling good about that. And looks like gonna just continue up into this upper cathedral area. Hapra's also moving fast through this train area, just trying to get these Gushin farms going. Not having the best luck on those guys, but finally hits. There we go. Get a couple of them, of course. If I was in Ace's shoes, I'd probably be using some throw spear in the mix here, because you can get some good range on those spears. It does a lot of damage too, but this is working fine too. Oh, got the shard. So this can happen sometimes. You're in auto farm mode, and you see what the shard is. You can see what the shard is in your menu, and it looks like it was a summon shard that he wanted. He's doing the count here. He's got 6. It looks. Oh, he's at 7. There's 7. He's done. Wow. That was fast. I think Hapra's really close too. I think he has 6 or 7 as well. So he just hasn't like looked at his menu in a little while. So we'll catch up on that in a bit. There's the throw spear. Probably feeling good about that. Maybe can show us the summon shards. I think he's at 6. There's throwing axe for Ace. Man, they're hitting these shards so fast. It's amazing. I don't know what's going on. There's another healing book. So Ace now has the healing books. That's the 3rd one. I want to say Ace hit one of these shards, but I could be wrong. Ace now approaching the boss Bloodless. She has a guaranteed shard, and with the damage output we have is worth stopping in on. Just to grab the shard and leave. Maybe head up to Hall. There's Cerulean Splash, probably feeling good about hitting that as well. Man. This is we might see a Gale Crawler Oriental here. Because we're kind of approaching the end game with all the available options that these guys have. Pretty amazing. Ace hitting all these levers here in Cathedral, also picking up that objective, as well as the healing books, so really nice. Okay, here's the Oriental play. You can use Scale Crawler to jump into these Iron Maidens. The downside being that you have to tank all the damage from the spikes because we don't have an item called Aegis Plate, which normally protects you from that spike damage. So it's good that you can close up this Iron Maiden, but you have to consume a lot of food. Hapra saying, you know what? It's worth it. We're doing it. And there's the Skull Necklace, a really strong item up there. by the Oriental Sorcery Lab, and we're about to jump in. That's going to improve damage by like on all your shards by like 1. I don't know, 1.6x. That's significant. So here's the gap enemy, this gargoyle-looking enemy here. Yeah, probably want to use something else. There's Throw Spear, it's doing a ton of damage. There's a Rude Shard, Ruinous Rude on Bloodless, not too interesting. But Hapra has defeated Gargoyle and Gap now. There's the Celeste's Key, not the one we are interested in. There's a Movement Shard on the Hagenti Invert. And that's another objective on the card. Oh my. We're just knocking these out. And they're going to want to go all the way to Zangetsu too, so we're going to pretty much see everything cleared here. Really just does make a lot of sense. Ace is kind of polishing up the upper library area that he hasn't been to yet, so makes a lot of sense going through Bloodless that way. Because he got to OD and did the lower library, but he hadn't done the upper library. So kind of going vanilla through the Bloodless path. Really, really clean routing, honestly. Couple great swords up here in Oriental. Looks like Hapra's using that Throw Spear to farm up this Gap Shard. It's a lot of damage. A lot of damage. Regenerate there. Okay. Not too interesting. And there is a Death Trap up here. This treasure chest mimic enemy. We'll see what they have. As Ace gets the Aqua Stream off of the Mimic. Kick expertise on the Death Trap. Nothing we really care about. Easter Fabric off of the Ninjas. I think they have vanilla drops. Very interesting. This Oriental play is strong, but it's also a dangerous area of the game. Fortunately, Hapra has equipped himself with some food, so you see him eating some fried fish and stuff there. It's good to keep your health up, because some of these enemies can like do a lot of chain damage and blow you up fast. Looks like Ace has identified that the Alcahest is available here off of the Tri-Wheel Viewer. Another good find. There's the Shinobi Garb. Really nice piece of equipment there for Hapra. And yeah, with that kill on the Kamikaze, this final cat enemy, that has provided another objective for Hapra. As we mentioned, this is just a super strong play to come up to Oriental, and that Gale Crawler paying off here. Managed to get through it pretty quickly. It looks like Ace did hit the Augment Gold on the Thunder Elemental, earning himself another objective as well. Very nice. This Kamikaze cat is having he's having a bad time with it. They've been having amazing luck anyways. Double checking that it even has a shard, because I don't think they've identified which enemy doesn't have one. This is good. Okay, Ace just hit Petra Breath on the Titanias. There's a Valkyrie sword in the early part of Hall that we saw earlier. Man, this Kamikaze doesn't want to give it up. There it is. Just a resist shard. Not too exciting. Okay, looks like Hapra has skipped the Carpenter boss. That's the downside, coming up here too early. Fortunately, there's a warp up here, and there's another summon shard, so that should be 7 there for Hapra. So that's a good find too. With the number they've been picking up, I wasn't really too worried about it, but good to see. Hey, Ace kind of just clearing out the rest of the worth here. Again, does not have Zangetsudo, so not going to be able to fight Jeeble like Hapra did. That's the big downside. But we're going into this Zangetsu 2 fight. You can really stun lock Zangetsu with Bolide Blast. Looks like Hapra's doing that now. And look at the damage. It's so much, especially with Skull Necklace. Got a perfect fight there. Got the medal. And 1,000 gold to go with it. Very nice. And that's Zangetsu 1 and 2 defeated. So, you can see just the wealth of objectives available in Oriental Sorcery Lab. It's just amazing. It's crazy. Alright. So with Aqua Stream in hand, perhaps Hapra is moving towards making a play down into Underground, or could elect to go straight into Den of Behemoths. Really good options available. There's a lot of areas in Underground that are available right now. It looks like maybe playing in that direction? No? Kune Kune? Okay, it is a bingo. Guaranteed bingo right now. Don't blame him. So, heading over... Oh, indecision? Has identified the 7 summon shards, so that's good. Just showing that off for us. Ace is about to hit his 3rd healing book. Probably feeling good about that. There's a unicorn ring drop. Not sure if Hapra hit that or not. That's a really good find. Hopefully thinking about that objective as well. It's a little tricky because we do need to hit some Riga shards. I think one of them was on the Buer Knight that Ace did not collect. And we don't know where the other one is. Or you need to hit some sword expertise, great sword expertise, and katana expertise. I think we hit the sword one already. So we need the other 2. So it's kind of tricky if those are going to even show up. Okay, Ace jumping down to the warp here. It's nice to have that there to return if he needs to do so. And we'll have to just see where he decides to go from here. Looks like Hapra is going to take a little a little break here. Get up, stretch, whatever he needs to do, because he's going to be sitting in that chair for a few minutes in this cutscene, and then we'll see the party hands enemy. The Kune Kune. Put your hands in the air. Gonna be good. Looks like the bottom row will be very doable as well, as Hapra has crafted a couple shards in the crafter. Ace is kind of looking to see what he can do to get there as well. Because once we get to 55% map completion, will be good. There's the spook right there with Bolide Blast. This is going to be a cinch. And just kind of stun lock him, blow him up. You just don't want to be facing that enemy. Otherwise, it could be problematic. Looks like Hapra's gonna Waystone out. You could just actually leave on the left there, but has elected not to. Maybe because he entered from the left, he can't leave from the left. He might only be able to leave from the right. That makes sense. So, yeah. Anyways, that's it's our first bingo for either of these players. So, really good progress here. And as I mentioned before, if they can identify how to get the vests, which maybe that's what Ace is working on right now, potentially, that could be a big play. It looks like maybe he crafted waystones there. That's kind of a big play, too. That allows you to get back to town way faster. Just selling some of the other stuff. Yep, just picking up all the waystones. And hopefully grabbing some food and things. So you can keep moving, because this card is flying. This card is going fast. Kind of expecting an underground play soon, as we do have the Cerulean Splash objective available. That might be a pretty good one. Hapra's going to get some levers here in Cathedral. Makes a lot of sense to route this way. See if you can pick up your Carpenter key as well, because that's going to unlock that fully explore Oriental Sorcery Lab to combo with your Cerulean Splash objective. So, to get that row 2 going. So, item density does seem good for that Carpenter key. Shard density could allow you to hit things like Rigadoin, or Drain Optimizer, or some of the expertise shards that we need. Maybe Flytrap Welcome Company. That one's a weird one, because you need some of the other shards that we don't have in order to accomplish to use that in a bingo at all. So Flytrap Welcome Company may be one that these players try to avoid, since they haven't seen either of those yet. So Ace now back in the garden, probably going underground. If I had to guess, there's a lot of items in underground as well. Down here by the waterfall, could hit the Carpenter key, maybe still delaying that Oriental play. We saw all those objectives from Hapra. Those are going to happen on Ace's side, but if he hits an Aegis plate, or if he hits Craftwork, then it's going to make his trip to Oriental faster, and if he hits the Carpenter key, then he's going to be able to fully explore it as well, which is something that Hapra cannot do presently. So, and did miss out on. Fortunately, there is a warp up there, so it's not really a problem for him, but it'll just be a matter of time. Who knows where that Carpenter key is? It could be deep in Den of Behemoths, could be in a deep sinker chest somewhere. That's going to be an important piece of the puzzle, I think. Just have to wait and see. But there are some unique enemies down here in Underground that we haven't seen before. So it'll be interesting to see what Ace finds from the Shovel Armor, the Decarabia coming up here. Some of these other enemies. Hits immediately. A summon 8-bit zombie. He's already good on the summon shards. That doesn't really help too much. There's a Valk Dress. Getting a good number of waystones too. I guess after all that crafting. I think still hasn't hit the shovel guy, but there's an opportunity to do so coming up here. Trying to take out the Fornius along the way. Hapra cleaning up Bloodless pretty swiftly here. Again, you can just stun lock her with multi-blast. It's so silly how quickly you can take him out. A lot of these enemies just get like lagged out by this full line. It's amazing. This Void Ray is also working out really well for Ace, because it's doing a good amount of damage and letting him just continue moving and killing all the enemies in his path quickly. So I do like that as well. See if Ace goes all the way up for this one check up an entrance. That could give him an opportunity to check the forgotten entrance checks. He's like, this is the one time I think he might be able to route it in. Otherwise, I don't know. I don't know when that's happening. He is moving through the room. It's good. He knows he doesn't have the Buer armor either. He's gonna go up through here, but he might end up just turning around and coming back. We'll see. I think he forgot what was there. It was just a capacity. He's like, didn't really need to do that, but also another lever, just some safety in case he forgot to hit one along the way. Got the shovel armor, just detective eye. But he's gonna go ahead and farm the Buer Knight here. It's a pretty cool strat. Do the high jump into Void Ray. Because he's barely on the screen there. You can see him dying. Like right off screen. Okay, maybe it's not working out. But this one is Rigastorima, so it's actually a big deal if he hits it. There it is. I think he's looking for Rigadoin, which he doesn't have, which is a directional shard. It's not a conjure shard. So that's one, again, we're still looking for. And that might open up that column 1, which would be a nice option for these guys. Now, the tricky thing in Ace's position about not going to Oriental right now is he needs to be really careful about thinking about, like, when do I pull the trigger on this? Because he needs to think about what's my go mode. Because we're getting to the point where we're talking about go mode. Like, what do I need to hit? What do I need to find to close out this game? To be at the point where I can just get the remaining objectives and win. Fortunately for him, we don't really know if Zangetsuto is required for this seed, but it does open up a lot of options. So, I suspect there's something on the card that's there, but it might not necessarily be what they need to get the bingos that they want. So without Deep Sinker, a lot of these farms can be a bit slow, but there's Drain. I don't believe they have Optimizer just yet, but that is a nice find. Oh, does he have Optimizer? Let's see. He does. Okay, very nice. Cool. So what does that open up for us? Still need that Carpenter key to get column 3. Excellent. And gonna be going ahead and using these Cerulean Splash to try to take out these enemies. These enemies aren't playing nice right now. But managed to get Alcahest from the clam there. And gonna be maybe farming up the shard as well. Does look like Hapra is using Void Ray and kind of following suit here, so they're kind of going to the same area, doing the same thing. But Hapra has done, like, the G-Bull fight already, so it'll be interesting to see when and if that comes into play. It might just be a time save that Ace doesn't have to do. That's a possibility as well. Alright. He does have Aegis Plate that he got somewhere, so he's able to block a lot of this stuff already. Did Ace kill the Decima? Cerulean Splash here? He's going back. He's farming. I'm being told by our awesome tracker, Linkforce, that Optimizer's one ship, and I must have missed that. So it's a good catch. Okay, Ace is moving on. We're gonna have to check if he actually killed a Decima with Cerulean Splash. But otherwise, I'm pretty sure he has that objective. I know he killed the other ones. Hapra assuredly has now as well. But looking to farm up these shards. Good strategy with Invert. Invert just kind of keeps you in place here. And then you can kind of use your Void Ray, which your better damage to take them out. Nice warp there in Desert, but there's also a forced warp in this area as well. So it doesn't really pay off. There's Dimension Shift and a Cursed Ring for Ace. Big hits there in Desert for AceZer0. He has the ring, he has Unicorn, Cursed, and Assassins. Good to go on that objective. Very nice play. Okay. We're really in the end game here. We'll have to see how much of that Hapra has, or has identified, or even wants to bother with. Maybe doesn't even care about those bingos. There's Summon Hellhound in Desert as well. Holy smokes. Hapra hitting Venom Mist immediately off the Living Fossil as well. Wow. Just immediately. These shards are just flying left and right. Like, we are at the 120 mark, and these guys are just almost done with the game. I think Ace is analyzing to see, what can I do? What do I need to close this out? Like, do I really care about opening chests anymore? Can I just kill some enemies? The ring drop is just right there. It's actually just right there off of one of these enemies in Desert. And there's Dimension Shift. Dimension Shift probably pushing Ace towards an easy access to Oriental as well. That's another big reason to go there. You can also see a Dimension Shift past this barrier to just completely ignore Alfred and grab the Deep Sinker Shard there on the candle. So that'll be kind of nice to see Ace just sneak by. And I think Hapra will do the same with that Dimension Shift in hand. Because now we can go open all those Deep Sinker chests if we like. Maybe try to find that Carpenter key. That Carpenter key could be really critical here. It has a lot of potential. There's Summon Hellhound. I think Ace is going back to town to upgrade that right now. And maybe turn in some quests as well. He's going to just pop in here and turn in some quests, turn in the tunic, turn in the ring, see what he gets. Maybe he can sell for money or whatever. Maybe get a vest. That would be the dream. Hapra going to continue through Underground, so we're going to see some new content here from Hapra, just using that Hellhound to just blast through the game. Has elected not to check any additional chests, which is really interesting without that Carpenter key. I guess he's picking up one or two along the way, but he's skipping some rooms, I'm noticing, and really just focusing on shards. I don't believe he hit the Drain Shard on the Fornius, so this is interesting. We're really getting to it. I think Ace is trying to look for the vests, because if he can identify the vests here, then he might be able to get that bottom left to top right if he just goes to Oriental, which he has complete access to. There's Dantaline Familiar on the Water Leaper. And again, I feel like you got to open, if you're coming all the way here, I feel like you maybe want to open these chests just in case you hit that carpenter key. But maybe Hapra is just like, I can farm all these shards and just be done. Maybe has a path forward to victory. Unless I missed the carpenter key grab somewhere. Okay, he's grabbing some of these chests here in Inferno. Ace is probably going to Oriental. There's an opportunity for him to go back to the Forgotten Entrance checks here, too. So, I'm really curious if that's going to happen. Hapra about to fight the boss of Inferno. Oro boss. Actually weak to fire damage, so this Hellhound is going to tear him apart very quickly. Ace not going to Oriental, going to check some Deep Sinker chests now. Here in the early part of entrance. Maybe just checking a couple things real quick, seeing if he could spike Zangetsudo or a Carpenter Key before he heads into Oriental, because he's going back up. There's Gold Bullet on Ouroboros. Not too interesting. Okay, up to Oriental we go. He has Aegis Plate, he has Dimension Shift, he has Gale Crawler if he really wants. But, yeah, he's in good shape to just move through this. He might grab the Skull Necklace here since he went this way. So he can consider using that as well. Nice little damage upgrade before you go in. We saw Dagger expertise, not the expertise we're looking for. There's Summon Simeon on the Hellhound. There's the Celeste key, not the key we're looking for, and we've kind of seen all this content from Hapra already. I can't believe they both hit that invert on the first cow they came across. Ace does get to check this one extra chest, which is interesting, but he's starting to mark off all these objectives. The Zagan Hagenti, Gargoyle Gap, he's going to get the Kamikaze here in a little bit, the cat enemy. So, all good stuff happening right now. But Hapra's in new territory, so might end up finding something really good here. That Carpenter Key being the critical piece of the puzzle. Looks like maybe doesn't have the Zapar, that red knight enemy down there, so he's using this opportunity to farm. There are better places to farm it. Maybe he was hoping to get it along the way. Now has to kind of drop down here. It's not the worst, but a lot of these enemies just kind of get in your way, and see him taking a lot of damage. This is an opportunity for Ace to grab the Death Trap. He's doing it. There's the Shard. Bloodsteel. Interesting. Not too exciting. Down on the Zephyr. Gonna keep moving into the secret sorcery lab here. And we have one boss, Doppelganger, plus a couple unique enemies. Oh, there's Craftwork. That's a big deal. That unlocks the carriage ride in Garden of Silence, and we could potentially route that in with the whole Den of Behemoths, potentially. So I do like the play there. Looks like Ace has defeated a Kamikaze now, which is good. He's just kind of going underneath and just bopping it with Hellhound. Good strategy. I can't. That was on the Rage, I think. I don't even think that was on the. What was that? Was that on Lamash too? Alright, Doppelganger is no more. Does he have the carpentry? Did I miss that? He's thinking about about healing up for this. Bolide Blast, that's what I, oh! Oh my god, he has it. Okay, this is a big deal. I missed that he had that. I don't even know where he got that. I know for a fact Hapra didn't enter this room. It's the shard. It's Fly Trap, which is on the card. I don't think we have Welcome Company, though. What on earth is happening? Still doesn't have Zangetsuto, though, so... Oh my goodness. There's a Millionaire's Key that we saw earlier. Looks like Hapra is kind of looking through quests and shop just to try to figure out if he can maybe get the vests or whatnot. Should be a real quick fight here with Hellhound and Bolide. You can see how free things are with this Jeebles combo. Looks like Hapra's trying to figure out the rings situation. Not sure if he got that first ring dropped, but I do see a Kung Fu vest in his inventory, so that's a good thing. Probably found that in a chest or something, so good hit, good find. Okay, Ace is out of there after defeating Zangetsu too, snagging yet another objective. As we said, that this has been crazy, the amount of objectives up in Oriental. And I didn't really look at his map, but I think he's got that as well.
What would you like to buy? Is leisure doing business? What would you like to buy?
What are we transmuting this time?
Alright, so now where do we go? You have to really think about it. I want to say Ace skipped the Decima. Using Cerulean Splash. Which is not great. He's back on train. Maybe looking for Zangetsuto and doesn't... I mean, he could do this. He did this earlier with Reflector, right? Oh, he's doing Kune Kune. Okay. This all makes sense. Okay, he's gonna eat his 3-minute time loss. Or whatever you want to call it. 3-minute break. Fight Kune Kune. It makes a ton of sense to do this because it's a free bingo. Okay, not free, but it's a bingo. Nothing's free. You gotta spend some time, at the very least. But then how does Ace close out this card? I don't believe he has the craft work. That craft work was a clutch find there for Hapra. So Hapra can get that. I think he's trying to figure out how he can take advantage and get that top row, that row 1. Now Ace can like think and plan. This is actually a cool play because he's going to do this where he has to wait anyways. So why not plan the rest of his game and figure out what his strategy is? He knows he doesn't have the Zangetsudo. Like, what do I do? Where do I go? So that's probably what's on his mind. Maybe I need to go to the rest of Underground, pick up those items, try to find Zangetsudo that way. Do I need to do 8-bit? Or what? And then Hapra is trying to figure out where the heck is this cursed ring. It looks like it's on that Volsha down in Desert, which Ace hit. And I believe Hapra might have the normal ring down there as well. So you see, there's Volsha or 8-bit Overlord as options here with the Sinister Rag, which I think is in the same drop table as the cursed ring. So when Hapra goes to Desert, he has the opportunity to find that there, or maybe he can deconstruct for it or something. He's trying to figure out the puzzle. He knows he can buy the rings too, which is good news. But he needs to close it out. Looks like he might also be just selling the bank here. No, he's buying some random stuff. He's just buying a lot of stuff to maybe try to deconstruct to get vests. That's true. That would give Hapra column 2. It's a decent strategy to try to go for. But you can also look in the crafter and try to find those items on things that you can't even craft yet, but maybe you can purchase them in the shop and then just deconstruct them for those materials. So there's a lot of different ways to go about it. If you have a lot of money, you can just buy a bunch of stuff like this, but you might not hit anything that you want. Ace finally through the cutscene. We'll see if he hits the shard here on Kune Kune, but about to take him down. Has to be really careful. You don't want to get, like, destroyed by Kune Kune. He can, like, stun lock you and kill you, so that can be a problem. But no shard, so it's probably the worst shard to farm because of the 3-minute cutscene. Probably a good thing that both of our players, like, what if one player hit it and the others didn't, and it's something required? That could be really, really bad. So that could spell doom. Good to keep our guys on even footing here. I imagine they're getting really close to 55% map, so that's kind of just like a shoe-in for them whenever they want. Hapra can certainly pull the trigger on Den of Behemoths and collect those map tiles quickly. Ace might be close and may need to collect some other tiles throughout the game. But right now, Ace is sitting on 1, 2, 3 bingos. Hapra's sitting on one bingo, but really close on a bunch of other ones. I think once he gets the rings going and he does his carriage ride, you know, he'll definitely snag that row 1. But he doesn't have the Drain Shard from the Fornius, and he doesn't have the Carpenter Key, or hasn't done the Carpenter fight, I guess. So he's missing out on column 3 and row 2 right now, and that's slowing him down considerably on the bingo progression. But he might be able to ignore those entirely if he can snag the vests and go up from bottom left to top right there. So it's interesting because you have the opportunity to maybe just farm some more shards and just see what happens, or you can keep searching. I think Ace is just continuing through the underground, maybe looking for a Z sword here. think he forgot an item over on the side here, which he wants. Yeah. So Ace may continue dodging Zangetsuto, but it's going to continue getting map completion, which I think he already has, and he's going to get some shards. So this is tricky. This is interesting. I think this will lead him to Craftwork eventually, and that might put him on a path where he's like, okay, I can just close this out now. But until then, we're just gonna have to wait and see. Desert definitely known to be an area of the game that's pretty annoying because there's all these poisonous enemies, there's these enemies that slow you down, just like having crisp movement in this area. And the skill like these guys have allows you to get through it very quickly. But if you get hit once, you know, it can take a lot of damage quickly. So Hapra heading into entrance, I think this might be a Den of Behemoths play. I do like the play. Right now he's missing out on that fly trap. So he can't get welcome. Even if he gets welcome company, he's not going to hit anything there. But he could get Rigadoin, and he could get the expertise shards. And that could be a big advantage for Hapra. So we'll just have to watch and see what he ends up finding there. But there's a lot of shards in this area. Some of them can be pretty tough to get because they're in kind of bad spots. But he does have the damage output to do what he needs to do to get it. We see Hapra is going to quickly take this carriage ride. You got to move this object out of the way using that hand, which is the Craftwork shard, and then plow through these boulders over here. And that's the carriage ride. So, big boon for finding Craftwork there. Let's see it. Let's see what's going on here. Ace hitting the puppy immediately, hitting the jackpot there. Literal jackpot shard. Alright. Doesn't need to worry about farming that, fortunately. Don't think he has this living fossil. There's Summon Rat for Hapra. Ace is just going to keep moving through. So there is a warp here. I think he's just going to head straight into Inferno. Still looking for that Zangetsuto, so he's checking all these chests for that, certainly. Hits Rigadoin on the Seeker immediately, which completes a bingo for Ace. Wow. What a hit there. That is such a clutch hit for Ace. So, I think he needs to go get that, go beat that Decima right now. Because that's what's holding him up. Because right now he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 bingos, and he would get row 2 from killing a Decima, which he forgot to do. So let's see it, Ace. Oh my goodness, I can't believe he managed to get this with it while dodging Den entirely. This is crazy. That is really fortunate for Ace. I thought that was going to spell his doom, and honestly, it might have worked against Hapra, made him spend more time doing other things. That's really unfortunate, but this should do it. This should do it here. Hapra, you know, clearing out as much as he can. Killing the Revenant boss. One of the late game bosses of the game. And there it is. Really strong 144-25, 144-34 finish for AceZer0 here. Congratulations to Ace. Moving on in the losers bracket. Well played. Going to be facing off against one of Bad Moon's or the Darkest. That match is coming up here at about 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Anyways, so congratulations to Ace. Hapra is going through and looking for trying to finish things out. Because I know he's close. Looks like he wants to go to Den. Man, that... Despite being such a shard-heavy card, it's surprising that they were able to finish so fast, but the fact that they both made the play into tower to get those G-Bulls, I think, was extremely clutch for both of them. Hapra is getting that welcome company over in Den of Behemoths. That's a big deal, but doesn't have the fly trap. Off the Carpenter boss. Crazy. Hitting shards very quickly, but it's hard knowing where the shards are right now. It hurts me because he's like going through all this Den. All he's gonna do is hit the expertise shards here. And well, that'll help for sure. Like if he goes and gets the rings, he can get top, left, bottom, right. It's still not gonna help him enough to get him the bingos that he needs. So really unfortunate situation. But still extremely high level play from both of these guys. There's Lethargy. We're going to see if we can get Ace in here for an interview. But I think Hapra's going to try to close this one out. And there is AceZer0. Congratulations, Ace. GG. Well played.
Thanks. GG. That was the craziest, fastest seed in card I've ever seen.
Yeah, I was amazed, honestly, that you were able to accomplish all of those shard objectives without even setting a foot in Den of Behemoth.
Yeah, like, I mean, I knew some of the card was going to come together fast, like once the Oriental Sorcery Lab opened up, but like, I didn't realize how much it was until like I went up there and it was like, okay, well I did that, and it was like, oh, I did that, and I did that, and I did that. It's like, gosh, this is crazy. I was like, can I win? Am I in go mode? And I took some time. Actually, the Kune Kune was perfect too. The Kune Kune, I've never been so excited to do that because it gave me a chance to like really look at the card and look up like where the Hound Vest is, which I know I've asked like 4 times and you've answered me every time that it's craftable and it's not a drop. It's not in a drop table anywhere, so I wasn't gonna be able to just like find that and narrow it down.
Yeah, I mean, one of the overwhelming aspects of this game sometimes is just the amount of information you need to know in order to like know where the drops are and stuff. But fortunately, there are good resources out there that you can check on to look up, you know, if there's something in a drop table or if it's craftable or whatever it is. So for those, Kung Fu Vest is in a chest. Hound Vest is one that you have to craft or deconstruct for, or maybe get a quest for if you're really lucky. And Assassin's Vest is a drop, so. But yep. Yeah, I mean, initially looking at the card, like, how did you feel?
I felt okay. Like, it's obviously a really shard-heavy card. There's a lot of like collect this and this, collect this and this shard. So I was like, okay, I'm definitely gonna want to push shards really heavily, be very thorough. Which, having said that, I like kind of left a couple things, like ship things, but it worked out because it was always like, well, I'll leave the double hammer and I'll come back and get it when I have movement to fully explore the ship, so I could still like pair things together. But like skipping the lower cathedral early was kind of like, I don't know. I thought like maybe I should just do that and get all the, you know, what we'd call early shards just to get them out of the way. But I felt like it was going to be a pretty straightforward card. Like clearly not a lot of crafting involved. Nothing that's like hard to track. There's some things like I have trouble like keeping track of how many you've done. Like the levers is a little bit tough sometimes for me to like keep a record of that, but there's so many, and 7 like isn't very much, so it's easy to like kind of as you go, you're like, well, I've done a couple here, couple here, couple there. Okay, that's definitely 7, and you know you did it. Yeah, the boss one, that's the other thing I like look for super early. I always look for like, are there any boss goals? Do I have to do something specific on the ship against Vabar? And like, I had to decide with Bull-Eyed Blast already. It's like, well, I don't have the magic to like really lay into him with Bull-Eyed Blast. So like, do I want to do that, or do I want to use my terrible knife, or do I just want to go off the ship and deal with those things later?
Yeah, it was really unfortunate to see you take the death there, but I'm glad that you kind of powered through it and finally got there, because Hapra was like off the ship, just like he just kind of ignored some of the shard farms early and just blitzed off the ship. So it was interesting because he came back and then did the farms when he explored. So it was kind of neat and to see you guys tackle things in different ways.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I figured out
on the Demon Lord.
Oh, so it sounds like Hapra got Zangetsudo.
Yes, he did. Let's talk about that for a moment.
Wait, is it in library? It's probably in library, because I was not very thorough there.
Let's talk about that for a moment. So, Hapra got his high jump off of the first Blood Grinder Knight in Entrance.
Okay.
And immediately went to Forgotten Entrance.
Oh, dude, okay.
And guess where Zangetsudo was? It was right above your head in that room with the Sabnock. So, there's katana expertise on Gremory. We did it. Still needs greatsword, but yeah, that was something that we were worried about for a while. That's why I was extremely surprised that you managed to make it through this shard-heavy card without going to Den or Glacial Tomb.
Yeah, I thought about going to Forgotten Entrance area like twice. So when I hit high jump, like farming right before Zangetsu 1, like I thought about going back then, but I was like, honestly, I have way too much to do. Like, I'll clean that up, maybe route that in with like going up to Oriental Lab or something like that. And then I thought about it again, like, you know, when I was waiting for Kune Kune, because that takes what feels like 10 minutes.
Yeah. It's a good 3 minutes
again,
or so,
like, hey, do I have any like item checks I need to do, or do I just go full shards? And I was gonna go like full 100% shards, and I like thought better of it, and I was like, well, I should get chests on the way, because maybe like there's a crafting book that's gonna unlock that Hound Vest, you know, and that's my bingo. But I had like, you know, I got Flytrap off of the Carpenter.
Yeah, we were amazed, and that was actually a big turning point in the race, honestly, because Hapra had already been to Oriental. He used Galecrawler to get in.
I always forget you can do that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's smart. Yeah.
Which was really like I was talking about it a little bit because that was an early thing that he had found. I was like, well, they have access to Oriental, and there's like 5 tiles for Oriental here. But you know, I don't think you had the damage output with the ship. It doesn't really make sense to go up there. Plus, I don't remember where the Carpenter key was, but he didn't go to Carpenter, so that was the problem, honestly.
Okay. Carpenter key was on the ship. Like, it was like one of the first checks we got. It was somewhere on the Galleon.
Okay, well, he didn't do it, and I was like, what is happening right now?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
If you have no damage, that's a tough fight. You always take so much damage, and you don't have the food to handle it or the stats. Like,
But you guys had
I
Bolide and Jeebles. Like you guys
Yeah.
both did the tower play early,
okay,
which
good.
it made it very interesting that both of you guys kind of took the same route. Honestly, you guys were routing pretty much exactly the same. I think you went to train a little earlier, but that was about it.
Okay.
So yeah, and while he did some of the upper library kind of stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
it
there's
was-
great sword expertise in 8-bit.
Oh.
Okay, so that's that objective.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I wanted to finish off the library. I didn't leave very much, but I left some things and went back. I felt kind of weird about my routing up there, but it worked out fairly well because like there weren't any warps up in the Hall of Termination, so it was nice that I did a little bit more up there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it paid off that you got that bloodless warp.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that was nice. And
Yeah.
I thought about had the Waystone, found the Waystone up in the hall, and I was like, well, I better not use it and just go back for the warp, and then I can dismantle it. And I can make a bunch because I knew that was available on the crafting list from early. But yeah, I don't know. I felt really good about the card overall. I know that I had several like ways to win. Is what I was kind of getting at earlier. That I got sidetracked when I was talking. But I saw that I was one shard away with the Rigadoine, one shard away with Craftwork gave me a row for a bingo. And there was, I guess, Welcome Company and Rigadoine would have got me one.
And
Welcome
Welcome
and
Company
that
wasn't Den. So that was one that you weren't gonna hit for a while.
I
For
see.
sure. And clearly not the expertise shards. There was one on Gremory and one in 8-bit, which
Okay.
completely across the map from each other, I guess. But I guess once you hit Zangetsudo, there could have been incentive to go to 8-bit quickly. And
Oh yeah, with no
More
warps
through
there,
there.
I would have definitely done that because like I'd be up there anyway, cutting the Blood Moon, and like
yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't want to have to warp back.
Hmm.
It's just a matter
Yeah.
of do you hit on your first trip through 8-bit or do you not get lucky and leave a shard or two?
Right, yeah, and you would have
Second
crafted up the you'd crafted up the waystones and stuff so you could get out quickly if you didn't really want to deal with 8-bit overlord, which is usually
Yeah.
not worth.
Yeah, I mean with Summon Hellhound it's fine. I wish I had some gunpowder. I didn't hit any gunpowder. It was a little odd,
It's probably all in Den.
but probably. Also
Yeah.
odd it was the chest next to what's her name, Abigail, that didn't have anything in it, that never left my map.
Oh,
That was a
Huh.
new one. It was literally
Interesting.
empty. There was nothing there. I didn't get money. I didn't get anything. And then it
Really?
never like the logo. I have it on my stream still pulled up. The map just still shows an unopened chest there,
nice.
which is really weird.
That might be the unfortunate pirate hat or something.
Maybe.
Yeah, that is a known issue. But yeah, it was cool to just see you guys like not really like wasting a lot of time places. It didn't feel like there were a lot of shard farms that really held you up. There were maybe a couple. I think like Assassin maybe
Yeah.
for you was one,
Assassin was okay. The
yeah.
Gehrman took a little bit, and
but that was worth. So that was
yeah,
That was
one
like
took a
Shadow
while.
Tracer
It was a
or
blue
something.
shard that I needed.
yeah.
And then oh, the macaron took a long time too. That was slow. That's pretty much it though. Those are the only two that were like really bad that I felt like just give me the shard. I want to go.
Yeah. I think Hapra had some of those like that. I think like the Mimic for him was bad. He is farming the Seeker now. And he's gonna get a pleasant surprise after the unpleasant experience in Den. But I don't know if he has the cursed ring right now. Or maybe even the normal ring, which were right next to each other. Like how was that was very convenient.
Both in desert, right?
Like 2 in shop, 2 in desert, yeah. Like the
Oh,
other
the
two.
curse ring was in the. Oh, you mean the okay, right?
No, the ones you bought, yeah.
The assassin, and I didn't buy the unicorn. I found that. Or that
Oh,
was a
right,
drop
you
or
found
something.
that. Okay.
I got really lucky. It was one of the horses.
That's right.
I don't know if
There
it was
was
the
one up
Negan or the
in
Glashton, but
yeah,
it was,
up in Hall. Yeah, I
it
remember
was
that.
fortunate because I don't know what drop table that's on, and I could have looked it up if I had to because I know that it does drop from an enemy, but I didn't have to worry about it. It was
Yeah,
not.
it might. Oh, Hapra left the Seeker. No, come back.
So unfortunate.
Oh, maybe he's going back. I don't know what's going on. But that was that was a ride. I don't really know what just happened. It was crazy that you managed to avoid Den and Icy Tomb entirely. We were like, can they get the vest? Maybe if he gets the vest, he can get bailed out, and then you just hit Rigatoni and we were just pogging.
Yeah, I was honestly expecting Craftwork more than anything else because that one for whatever reason, maybe because it's movement. I don't know if that's how this works, but it feels like it's early more often than not. So I was like, maybe that's somewhere early-ish, and I can hit Craftwork and take the carriage ride.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. And there were so many other blue shards early, which I think is just a coincidence, but felt like there were a ton of them. I got like Healing and Standstill and Shadow Tracer, and
Yeah.
it's like all really close
Bunny
together.
Morphosis, I
Bunny
think, was
Morphosis
really
the other one. Yeah, I got
yeah.
that one. I don't know if I got the. I don't know if I got any other ones.
I think you probably got like Beast
Oh, yeah,
Guardian or
Guardian,
something.
that was somewhere.
Yeah. I remember seeing that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of blues. But I mean the game gave you plenty of good shards. You hit like that Void Ray on that monkey like immediately.
Well, yeah,
that was a big deal. That let you catch up some because Hapra was just like doing a lot of damage with Faulty. I noticed.
Yeah, I'm not very
Through
good
the
with
early
that.
game.
Like, there's a couple
Mhm.
shards that I know I'm not very good with, and like it's kind of I feel like a bad for me if they're early, because I know my
Yeah.
opponent's probably gonna have it early. And Full Tab's one of those. I have trouble doing it like effectively. Same with like Venom Mist.
Which
Didn't show
what
up
was
this
that?
time.
At
least not for me.
It was somewhere.
Oh, Hapra
Okay.
got it. Okay.
Hapra got
I
it.
did
Yeah.
not.
Well, there's
Thank goodness.
the cursed ring drop for Hapra. Hapra, is he done? 1, 2. Should be good, I think. 1, 2, 3. He's got like everything on the outside, and then he's got the diagonal. Yeah, he should be good. GG
Nice.
to Hapra, finishing up. See if we can get Hapra in here if he's interested. Looks like
I'm
he
curious
will
to hear
join.
hear his thoughts on the season.
He's going to the right place. There's the Carpenter's room. Oh man. There's the fully explore. Okay, did he need to hit that? I don't know if he needed to hit that to finish. But anyways, he's done. And he could have hit Flytrap on that guy to get another 2 bingos. And there we are, Hapra, GG.
GG.
Oh, what an adventure. This was a treat of a race to watch both of you go through this. It's a tough break, Hapra, because I think you just missed certain shards that really mattered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lucky, I guess, but it's fine.
But I mean, you had to be feeling really good about that early game. It looked like you were flying through the game, getting a lot of items, and you hit that high jump shard on the first Blood Grinder night and found Zangetsudo. That was the big deal.
The early game was pretty good.
Yeah.
And then I think like I went to the den and to Icy Tomb and it was completely useless basically. So
Yeah. I mean, you hit
that-
Gremory, the katana, and there was a welcome company down there. If you had fought the Carpenter boss and received its shard, you would know that Flytrap was there.
no.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
Ace did not find Zangetsudo the entire seed. Just to
Oh.
put things in perspective.
Yeah, I got to dodge all the den and Glacial Tomb. It was nothing.
So
I was a little late to high jump. Not too late, but late enough that I didn't end up going back for that couple of
The-
checks.
Did you find the hound vest? Like the
No.
the vest style? Yeah.
I did not. I didn't get Assassin's Vest either, but I know I could figure out what item drop table it's on and find it if I need
Because
it.
if hound vest was in the crafter, I could have finished way earlier, I think. But yeah, like that, I needed one more key shard. So, and I couldn't find one, so that's unlucky.
it's really, honestly, it's more that Ace got lucky that Den wasn't required. I think more than anything, because I didn't know when Ace was gonna get that Zangetsudo. Like, it's gonna be forever. It was gonna be the last thing you did.
Probably. Well, maybe. I
Close
was gonna
to
at
it,
least
yeah.
I was gonna at least clear out the Inferno and the
Secret sorcery.
whichever secret sorcery lab. I always get those two mixed up. I was gonna clear out those areas, and then if I had like some easy to farm enemies, I'd probably do that. Otherwise, I'd probably switch and try to grab some other items that I'd left.
Right, and you would have hit Craftwork in Secret Sorcery, so that would have helped.
That
you
would have
out
been
as well.
that would have been the game then as well, because that would have been my top row.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it was really just the Seeker and the Fornius that got you, Hapra. Those were the key shard locations that I think slowed you down the most, because Drain was on the Fornius, I believe.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's my bad. I should have checked for news.
It's tricky, because you're in a position where you hit one of like 3 or 4 different shards and you're in go mode. You're good to go, you can finish, but who knows where they are? There's so many checks in Desert and Inferno and Secret Sorcery and Den. It's like, do I bother with this fish? Like, I don't, it's hard to say. So I know Ace made some skips. Like, Ace skipped Buer Knight for forever. We were like, when are you gonna get that Registerima? Ended up being the clutch finish there for you. But you ended up getting that, farming it in Underground. So
Yeah, I like farming
surprising.
that one in Underground specifically, and just because like a lot of times I don't hit the Shovel Knight, and it's in the room with the Shovel Knight, and it's like an easy place to grab both of those. Kind of makes me feel less bad too about taking that like path up towards the entrance where that like locked door is, you know, because there's only a handful of items there, so it feels kind of slow, but I don't want to leave the items, so kind of if I guarantee that I'm going to farm that shard there, like it kind of makes it feel like there's more value to like that area.
definitely. But I mean, what was your strategy going into this, Hapra? We were talking a little bit about it with Ace, but I'm kind of curious to hear what your plans were when you saw this card.
I have no idea. I just play whatever.
Just hit. Yeah.
That's probably why I lose. Why I lost.
Well, honestly, you were flying through the game, getting as many shards as possible, it looked like. I mean, I think the luck felt way above average for both of you.
I think
it looked
so,
like you
yeah.
were hitting very, very frequently from where I was standing. But,
I would say yes.
which is really good when you have a card full of shards that you need.
Yeah.
That's, but it was really great to see the tower play from both of you. I was surprised. I was like, well, tower, I mean, I guess you get a couple levers, but like, what you gonna get? And then
PRNG.
immediately Jeebles. Yeah.
The PRNG, 'cause that's where I had the
Jeebles.
Jeebles against Solsky. And I was like, maybe they're there again. And I mean, it's on the way to. It's kind of on the way. I mean, you can skip a lot of those checks, obviously, and come back later, like usually a little more efficiently. But it's on the way to OD, which is good to do, especially when you're trying to get your pass plate, to go to the train.
That's true.
I like to at least do the first like big room there. That way you like kind of do the first big room on the way up, and then maybe if I hit a warp, I'll leave and come back. But with the movement and everything we had, it was like just full clear the tower while we're here.
Yeah, it didn't actually end up taking that long. I thought it was going to be a while, but it was fine for both of you. You guys breezed through it. High jump makes that way more palatable. Yeah.
It sure does.
But that was kind of a clutch point because we were like, is Ace going to actually go to tower? Because Hapra hit that Jeebles immediately. I was like, okay, well, that's a huge advantage. And you just went straight there. You guys pretty much followed each other the whole seed. I think Ace went to train earlier. Hapra, you went up to Hall of Termination earlier. Which makes sense when you have Zangetsudo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was cool.
Where was Zangetsuto already? I forgot.
It was at the begin, like that first room. We call it Forgotten Entrance, but it's the first room you encounter a Sabnock. There's like a Sabnock and some ALOs there. It's in the entrance area. But you hit the high jump in the room right before it. So you were able to get up there, but Ace had to hit the high jump like in the garden somewhere else before, like after that area. So he never actually was able to check those items in that location. So he routed completely around those checks and missed Zangetsudo for the whole game. I kept bringing up, there's an opportunity to maybe go there, after you do this underground play. Maybe you can just slide over. Maybe before you go to Oriental, you can just jump in there. It's just, you're a man with a mission, and you did accomplish it. So, yeah, I'm still shocked. I don't understand how that just happened. Just dodging the entirety of Den on this card, but that's how it goes. But I was really impressed with the fact that you decided to go up to Oriental, which obviously was a strong play with this card, using the Gale Crawler. I was talking about that. I was like, they found Gale Crawler. This is available. And you sure did it. That was cool.
There was so much stuff in there.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of odd. Usually we see like no objectives for Oriental, or maybe one.
Yeah, I forgot that you could do that with the Gale Crawler, so I waited till I got Dimension Shift pretty late.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, GG's again, Hapra. This was fun. I was a little worried about the race because you're obviously like a skilled speedrunner, and like I've already seen some of the stuff you do in the movement. Like I'm trying to imitate your like just going into the castle, like the drawbridge, the way you like jumped up and like skipped off it almost, like without even waiting for the thing to open. Like just little things like that. It's like, man, I want to like get better and be able to do some of this stuff. Or the dimension shift past the gate to Deep Sinker that I didn't know you could do until I saw you do it.
This actually blows my mind that no one thought about that, like ever.
It seems so obvious because you dimension shift past all these walls all over the place. Like, why not that one? It never crossed my mind.
Never crossed anyone's mind, but you have all the knowledge, the game knowledge like that. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but I'm bad, so.
Well,
it takes a lot.
It's tricky because I think Ace has been Ace. Ace has been playtesting the bingo for like a year, so Ace has like the background in the bingo side of it. But you have been playing the speedrun side of it for forever, so it's like I don't know who's gonna come out on top. Like that's hard to say, but I think it's really impressive. Like your first showing in this tournament, having very little experience with the bingo at all. And probably, I don't know how much Randomizer you've played, But obviously, like Bad Moons' randomizer is
Yeah, not
a
not
different.
a lot,
Yeah.
to be honest. Like I
Mhm.
didn't even play the game in the past year. Like a lot, at least. I did play it, but nothing
Well,
crazy.
your skill shows. So very impressive. And I thought throughout the whole thing, I was like, well, Hapra is the dark horse of this tournament for sure, because all of us, like the rest of us, are basically been playtesting the bingo for forever until we finally released it, and we just play for fun. And finally threw together this tournament. But then you came along and we were like, okay, we're gonna see some top tier play, and we definitely saw that. So, GG to you.
Yeah, I was kinda sad to see that like there wasn't like much people joining, unfortunately. Like except for you guys like that made the bingo itself. So
it's tricky because it's a game that requires a lot of knowledge and experience. I think like overall, a lot of people really love the game, and I've seen a lot of people get interested now that they've seen it in action. So, hopefully we can get some more tournament formats. What I noticed early on when we were playing the randomizer is that it was too easy to just do to win. Like, it's too trivial. You just find movement and you go beat Bale. You just need dimension shift.
Zangetsu, dimension shift, and that's it.
That's it. Yeah. So that's why the bingo makes it more interesting. So it'll be cool to toy with other bingo formats, maybe add additional squares to the available pool and things to spice up the randomizer and the bingo more. Hopefully draw more people into playing it.
I was happy to see at first that like there wasn't too much collect stuff. Like it was very shard heavy. Like this card was very shard heavy, which I think is good for me. But
yeah. When you have to collect a lot of items, it can be intimidating because then you have to learn the drop tables and the crafter and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it takes me ages to look at the crafter. I'm very slow at it. Like to find stuff and see how you can craft something.
It's difficult. It's an art to figure that out.
There are so many possibilities that you get lost when there are too many.
Mm-hmm.
At least
and you start tunnel visioning on certain things, and it's hard. But yeah, this one was like, I don't even need to look at the craft, or maybe for Houndvest. It's like about it.
Yeah, I was really hoping that Houndvest was in the crafter.
That would have changed the whole game entirely.
Because if it was, I was in go mode.
Okay. Yeah, that would have been 2 bingos immediately.
I would have too at the basically when I found Dimension Shift and could do the Oriental Sorcery Lab stuff. That would have been it for me if I had Houndvest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which really wouldn't have been that much faster. Like I got pretty fortunate on that Rigadoine, but still.
Yeah, it would have been faster for me.
Oh yeah, probably by quite a bit.
Got unlucky with the shards, but that's my bad. I should have checked. Like I missed way too many shards, like easy shards there, and of course, like all of them were key shards. So, very nice.
Yeah, it was unlucky. But I mean, the fact that you were able to get the greatsword and the katana expertise was pretty amazing too. Like you managed to find a different way to finish. So
yeah,
it was just unfortunately the slower way through all of Den and Icy Tomb. It's a lot of work, extra work. But I really appreciate that you played in this tournament and came and joined us. I hope you had a fun experience with it.
Yeah, it was fun. I lost my 2 matches, but it was fun. Like those 2 were fun, so it's fine.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, you still had a good showing. There were some close finishes, and I could see the gears turning in your brain, like as in improving over the course of the tournament. It's because I know you're very new to the bingo, so it's cool to see that evolution. Because I mean, these are both extremely competitive times: 144.34, 203.12, and again, if you hit the fish, you might have been done way earlier. So it's if it comes down to a fish, I'd say these are pretty competitive time.
Yeah,
So
this card wasn't too hard, I think. It wasn't too long.
Luckily, because you guys had all the damage and the shards were hitting, yes, I agree. But it looked intimidating at first. You guys had like all these shards you needed to find. I think the center square being that boss kill helped a lot. I think that might have been a big part of it. And just everything in Oriental. That was also a big one. But do you have any comments or any more additional thoughts as you're exiting this tournament, Hapra?
Not really, I think. Okay, it was fun. It was fun. That was nice.
Cool. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, and hopefully we can do another tournament and you can see you come back and show off your skills again, and we can learn a thing or two. Like we did this time. And Ace, we've got an upcoming match. Bad Moons versus the Darkest, and you're gonna have to face off against one of those guys. How you feeling? Feeling good about this win? You feeling anxious about the next one? Good about the next one?
Kind of all of the above. I definitely feel good about this one. I think this might be my fastest time I've ever had for a Cinco bingo, which is crazy. But I do feel like I've been playing more consistently good, so I feel good in that sense going to the next match. But obviously, Bad Moons is like better at the randomizer side of things, and like he's so good at like Hapra mentioned, when looking at the crafting stuff and seeing how things fit together. Like I feel like Bad Moons has such a great eye for that. Like that's really scary, especially if it's like a craft heavy card. He's gonna find something that I never saw and just like knock it out of the park and have a huge advantage. And the Darkest has gotten a lot better too, and like the community race we did, I think we finished like seconds apart right before the tourney started. So I think either's going to be a tough match, but I'm feeling good about going into it and at least competing and having a close one.
Cool. Yeah, Darkest has impressed me recently with his improvements, because he's pretty new to Randomizer and the bingo too. So looking forward to seeing who ends up out on top, Bad Moons versus Darkest, and then we'll see who you're playing against in the coming days. Cool. Any other final thoughts, guys?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, and GG's. And we'll be having some more fun Bloodstained action throughout the week here at SG Live 2021. Thanks, everyone.